Tonight on 8.5-bit, we go for a walk, go for a run, and go to a party. Welcome, friends of all designs, to episode 270 of 8.5-bit. Tonight, joining me are my good friend Sam.
Hello.
And
that's right. Where I am, I can make my new friends.
just say worlds within worlds. James is wearing an Oculus Quest at the moment.
And I've got my pass-through thing going.
Yes.
So I
You
can
can
actually see everyone.
In a sweet 10 frames a second past.
Yeah, and this is the first step towards my glorious AR future,
Yeah.
which I am so excited for. I saw that. I'll take it off.
And
so immersive.
And James. Hi, James.
Hello.
Nice to see you there.
I'll fix up my hair.
And the
into
games
existence.
that were suggested in the intro today are, of course, the very current A Short Hike, which came out like 6-7 months ago.
Topical as always.
Ring Fit Adventure, 2 months
Yeah.
ago. And After Party, which was another 4 months ago.
So
or
we're
so.
up to date.
Yeah.
Very up to date.
This
Also-
was just like the catch-up for the end of the year, wasn't it? It's like, there's this stuff. Actually, and the
things
other
I
game
meant to
that I will
play.
talk about is another one.
Yeah.
It's like, probably should play it.
Yeah.
get around to it, yes. So, gentlemen, welcome to our end of the year episode. And depending on how I cut this, either the second half of this episode or this will be a short episode followed by another episode, which will be our game of the year, which is my new format to make our game of the year a little bit more interesting than just another fucking game of the year. So we'll see. What do you think?
Two
Should we do
episodes for the price
I
of
think
one?
do 2 episodes.
Because then someone can ignore
separate
it if they're
video.
really
Well,
sick of game of the year.
Because
Yeah.
the Game of the Year episodes are always like biggest hits. And I worry that if we front load it with our regular boring shit, that
People will tune out.
Um,
Everyone's just going to turn it off.
a bird going for a hike. How can they not be psyched for it? Okay,
and this way the people get 2 episodes.
let's front load it
It's like a
with
bonus
the
late
biggest
Christmas.
thing we forgot to talk about last time, and then we'll go talk about Christmas afterwards. We didn't mention when we were doing all the award stuff, and everything last time. We didn't mention that they announced Resident Evil 3 remake.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Not only did they announce it, they said it's coming out March.
Yep. It's
So
another
it-
March release.
So it's a March release. So it's coming out very soon, and they've just announced it. And also that multiplayer RE game that we were like, well, that sounds all right, but it's not really what we're after. It would be good if it was part of another game. That's
This is
what it
part
is.
of
The
it.
multiplayer. So it's a full-blown multiplayer for part Resident Evil 3 remade. Same treatment as Resident Evil 2. It is a different team, I believe, but I imagine the same. They're aiming for the same goalpost. They've got a standard that worked very well
It
for
work,
them.
yeah. They know their formula.
What a package! Yes.
And it's another March release. The month that every game is coming out in this year.
Yeah. What's March is that is
Got
Cyberpunk,
Alex.
Although,
Half-Life Alex.
Oh, Alex. Yeah,
I've seen
Cyberpunk.
places list Cyberpunk as April now.
I think it's end
So
of.
is it-
It's still around the same,
But it's
yeah.
still that time of the year.
Yeah, that time of the year. They're only
Yeah.
a few weeks apart. There was
Final Fantasy VII Remake.
yeah, Final Fantasy VII, Animal Crossing,
Animal Crossing.
and that's-
Neo 2.
and then that's Animal Crossing is the same day as Doom Eternal.
Yep.
Oh, Doom Eternal.
Yep. Neo 2.
Yeah, those.
I think
one will cannibalize the other.
I'm gonna
There's quite a lot.
I'm gonna call it now. Neo 2 is going to be overlooked.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I will play it, but it will be overlooked.
Yeah, I heard someone mention Neo 2 today, and I couldn't remember what it was because I was thinking Neo like Neo. I'm like, what is that? It's got a sequel?
Yeah.
I'm like, wasn't there a super magnetic Neo on the
Yeah.
GameCube? Is that what it is? And then wait, NIOH. Yeah. Okay, I remember Neo. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
It's
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's enjoyable.
It's
Second one looks like more.
hopefully, I mean, in a post-Sekiro world,
Yeah.
and
true.
coming up Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
Which I thought was Sekiro
Yeah.
for a while.
I mean, this
It's
is
all the same game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a comment about its quality. It's just a comment about it potentially being lost in a sea of
Yeah.
the
The
sea
things.
of a-
Yeah.
Hyped up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Okay. How was your Christmas?
It was good.
Good.
Didn't
yeah.
do a whole lot.
Any
Just nice.
any gaming things related to Christmas?
Nope.
No, not really. Mainly family stuff.
Didn't receive any games for Christmas,
Oh,
James?
I got games for Christmas.
What did you get?
Got Remnant.
Oh yeah, we all got games for
I
Christmas.
didn't give that to you for Christmas. That was just for fun.
Oh, and
We all got Anthem.
the angels have scaly wings. Or this,
That sounds like a bestseller.
I tried to find with James and his wife Cheryl the most personalized dating simulators I could find for each of them. So I found him a dragon dating simulator.
perfect.
because I love
Absolutely
dragons so
perfect.
much.
He does
Yes.
love dragons.
Yeah.
His was much cheaper than Cheryl's. But still, what a find. I
Oh,
thought
yeah.
it actually looked kind of good.
I'm going to be honest, Paul.
Yeah. You haven't played it. You son of a bitch.
That's next episode.
When you
then.
bought me fucking Secret of the Magic Unicorn, I played that fucking thing.
You're saying
And I didn't buy this game because it was shit. I bought it because it was special for you.
Well, it is now on my list.
wrapped up
Sweet.
in love.
Okay. I'm all slightly excited now. Just gonna turn
Playing
this
with the
down slightly.
levels.
Yeah, that's what I do. Sometimes when I notice it clipping in my ears. Well, we talked about Remnant last
Yeah.
show, and that wasn't for Christmas anyway. It's just for good friends.
We all got gifted Anthem.
Yes,
Oh,
we
we did.
We were all gifted
We-
Anthem
we
by
get-
our friend Callum.
And on the idea that it will No Man's Sky itself, and
Potentially.
we'll eventually
We'll
have a
all
good
have
game.
a copy.
That is
Yeah.
their pitch. I'm all up for some Anthem afternoons. Let's work through this bitch. Anything else?
No.
Well,
That's like a loaded question.
also, I realized I didn't finish when I started saying the games we were playing this. I didn't actually say them.
Well, they were.
I don't think I did. A Short Hike.
Yeah, you did.
Did I
said
say
all
the other two?
Yeah.
God, I'm going senile. Fuck it. Okay, because that brings me
You're
up
on
to
the
what
ball.
I got for Christmas, which is Ring Fit Adventure.
Did this thing right here,
So-
and is
yeah.
it everything that you hoped for?
Yeah. So I haven't had a lot of sessions
I'm
yet.
going to see how many I can do.
It's not about doing. That was just what I did as a joke. You're not supposed to go like wobble it. Sorry.
Well, what's good technique? Well,
Okay, so push it in and hold it.
Yep.
Now like count to 10. Then release it out. Now do that 20 times in a row.
Oh, that's action-packed
Yeah.
gameplay.
Uh huh.
Let's keep going. I'm just gonna do this.
I like watching the struggles.
I'm gonna work on my glutes.
I think you're doing. I
feel
think
like
you're doing
for
about
a
80
plastic
there.
ring, it really shows what it actually is with the shaking of James' arms.
I mean, and the thing
There's
is,
quite a lot of resistance on
Yeah,
that thing.
you can like. There's more to push. You can get your hands together.
Jeez.
Come on, buddy. It's not gonna snap. It's made for this.
arm snap.
Oh, his arm's snapping.
Oh, okay. That's
Okay, so
It's coming back towards
Ring
us.
Fit Adventure is
Yeah.
Nintendo's new fitness game, where you get a Pilates ring and you get a little harness to strap to your leg,
My
so it
glutes.
measures your
And my cloits.
ability to use a Pilates ring and your movement of your legs. You get to play it as an adventure. You can't just do a workout, but what I really want to do is run around the countryside fighting creatures so I can take down a bodybuilding dragon.
Yeah, why not?
So, how does it work? Very, very well. So when you're running around the countryside, you have to run in place, and there's a mode for silent if you can't really run in your room. So when I'm up in my office, because it's wooden floors and second level, even though it's just my wife and I, it is pretty loud if she's around. So I can turn it to silent and just sort of like do other things, or just go downstairs. One of the two. But as you're running around, there is more gameplay than I first gave it credit to, because you can't control where you're running. You're on a track. But you can turn your body with the ring, and you can collect things both by blasting them with air blasts and by sucking things in. If you need to jump, you push the Pilates ring down on the ground and you blast air up. So there's all these moves that you're doing while you're running around. If you're going upstairs, you got to lift those legs high so you can
get up each stair.
Yeah. It's a real fucking workout. And it is a real workout. The only thing, like when it first started up, is like, oh, push it in as hard as you can. And I push it in, it hits 100 and it can't go any
So
further.
how does it measure it?
It's just some mechanism in there where the Joy-Con is.
Oh, actually in here. Okay, so it's kind of docked to it.
Yeah,
So there is at least some electronics.
Yeah,
There's
it's,
something in it.
It's not just a piece of plastic. Yeah, because I thought that it was actually just this. And
yeah. So it can measure both you squeezing and pulling.
Yeah.
And obviously because of the gyro in there, it can measure your orientation of it. I pushed it in and I pushed it to 100, and they can't push it any higher than that. I'm like, am I already maxing out the strength on this? Well, this is going to be shit. Well, not shit, but just too easy to be like a long-term.
Calibrating to how strong you are.
No. It wasn't calibrating to how
just
strong I am.
testing?
I am pushing it as hard as I can. I am pushing as hard as it can register. That is true. Except when you're doing different exercises at that strength, and you were doing them, as I say, Like, now do 24 reps of this.
Yeah.
So today was the first time I did like a full long, like half-hour long set sort of thing. It fucking broke me. When you're doing the battles, you're just choosing exercises that you're going to do, and you've got a set of them. And as the game continues, you get different types of exercises, but you've just got a small amount to start with. You can't repeat the same exercise straight away. So you're just there, like you've just done 40 squats. You've just done like above your head these squeezes and everything, and you're just like, okay, so they're at half health. What? I don't want to do any more arm exercises. That one's sitting on the floor. I could do a leg lift, okay? Yeah, let's do that. Fuck. And you can slow down and do it at your own pace. There's no real rush to it.
Yeah, you can just stop for a while.
And I did actually, the reps were a bit too high for me. And when I had finished a level, the next level, I toned it down a little bit. Because at the end of every session, it asks you, was it too hard, too easy?
So over time, you can still start to
you can build it up,
set it to what you need it to be.
So it's an actual good, and what I haven't got to yet, because I still only just did like the first world and everything. Enemies start having actual weaknesses, so it's like
Is that the types of exercises?
Yeah, they're weak to abdominal exercises. They're like, so you can pick you can. It's one of those things like, well, I can keep doing those exercises, which will hurt them more. Except I've already done 2, and I feel fucked. I'm going to do the
hurt
easy.
you more.
Yeah,
Paul.
I'm going to do the easy exercise for a little while because I want to spread it around. So it's quite amusing. Not laugh out loud funny. It's not that clever a writing, but it is fun. The whole bodybuilding dragon going around is good fun. The world's quite attractive, but yeah, just when you're just running around getting to each little fight, it is actually quite fun. Like I'm just collecting coins. I don't even really know what I'm using them for. I'm sure I can unlock different sexy outfits and stuff. Yeah. And otherwise you can do you can set it up so you can exercise with the game off. You can use a certain amount of exercise you can do per day with just the ring itself, and then when you turn the game on again, it banks the XP.
Oh, so it tracks it in the Joy-Con?
Yeah. It had to do a Joy-Con update when I started
cool.
the game, so I assumed that was part of that.
So if you want to take it to the park or something like that,
Yeah,
you can,
That's
yeah.
cool.
If you want to do, or you'll just want to watch
Watching
TV,
TV
and you're just like,
reps.
I just want to do those reps James was doing. You could just do that if you want.
That's cool.
So it's actually quite versatile. What I'll have to see now is the variety of exercise and if it really can, like even when you finish the first world, it prompts you to set an alarm for your next workout, and you have to.
No.
I backed out of it because I'm like, I can control my own fucking workouts, thank you. But it really is just pushing like, no, we want to make this a regular lifestyle thing that it'll just pop up and say, hey, Wednesday's time for leg day, let's do it. So yeah, I've so far it's been an actual challenging workout, which was more than I was expecting, and it gives you enough. It feels like it's got enough feedback. So say if you're doing a squat, you go down, and the body starts charging up. If you go down far enough, though, the body bursts like Super Saiyan. It goes into to show like you're in the real burn zone. So it tries to guide you as best it can to good performance and good strategies. It obviously can't do things like check your back and things like that, but it has a lot of diagrams on the screen to say check this. There's a bit of verbal feedback as you're doing things.
And all that.
Yeah, it's like make sure your feet are pointing forward, things like that. So especially when you're getting tired doing this sort of routine, you very easily become sloppy. But if you just the guides are pretty good so far, I've found. I'll have to get someone to check my form one day once I'm really into it and see how much I'm fucking up.
So when this thing hits $20, is it worth picking up?
Oh, shit yeah.
See, what I'm wondering now, from what you said about it, and actually using it and feeling the tension, have Nintendo made a bit of a misstep by not just doing Wii Fit 2? Like, it feels like this thing has can legitimately get you fit. Thematically, it's a bit weird. And I'm not sure it's going to land with everyone.
The balance board landed really well.
Yeah, that's why I'm wondering if they just gone, hey, that was such a cultural phenomenon. If they went, Wii Fit 2, there'd be a bunch of people going, I remember Wii Fit.
Yeah.
What I think they should do is do Wii Fit 2, but I think this was potentially the right move for the current Switch audience.
Switch Fit.
Because Wii's audience was Oprah.
Yeah.
Switch audience is...
Us.
Yeah. More us. Yeah. And this is way more fun than Wii Fit ever was. It's got a sense of humor about it. It's actually like kind of a fun little silly RPG.
I guess Wii Fit was literally do exercise.
Yeah, and this game still has that in there, but it's not how they've
But they've wrapped it in a game.
Yeah.
Which is what we like.
So I still think it would probably be wise to do that. Also, just to give the peripheral another usage.
It seems like something they could do in like 6 months' time, or even next Christmas, saying, "Hey, here's the Wii Fit 2 bundle."
It's weirdly been a little bit of a cult hit. I don't think they manufactured huge amounts, but that did mean that it sold out. It's been actually quite hard to get a copy of it, and it low key keeps appearing on like Game of the Year lists. I see.
Okay.
People that get it, they're
Like a surprise.
it's like I got it and I keep playing it and I'm enjoying it and I'm getting fitter. So I guess it's actually one of my games of the year because it succeeds at all of its tasks, even though it may not be the most exciting proposition. I don't know. You can get an actual Pilates ring for like $20, but if you want to put an extra 100 on that, play with it.
If you want it gamified and tracked.
My sister-in-law gave me Wii Fit Adventure and a yoga mat.
Nice. The yoga mat probably helps.
Oh yeah. Well, all of those surfaces in my house are hard.
Yes.
So it's like yeah.
I was thinking
All covered with dogs.
I was thinking of trying yoga. Cheryl wants to try yoga.
Yeah.
I feel like it would be benefit to me, the man who doesn't bend.
You
will have a fun first few yogas.
It's not just that you don't bend. It's just that when you bend, you're so stiff about it.
There's no flow.
So we went to a pool party a couple of weeks ago, and I'm like, oh, I know what will be fun. I'm going to swim underneath James and pick him up on my shoulders, and we're going to do the tall
Was
man.
he just planking?
This is something that I'm sure we've done 1,000 times as we were growing up. And admittedly, we do not pool as much as we used to. But we were there. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure this is fine. And I get him up on my shoulders, and I have to use all of my strength
to
hold him there because his body has just gone as a plank stiff as a board. It's like and shaking. And maybe as an adult, picking people up on my shoulders isn't all that it used to be. So then we did a 3-person tower with other people, and it was fine. But James, difficult to do as well.
So the thing to remember then for James is if he tries to go and do a yoga, to not tense every muscle.
Yeah, I think I need
All
to.
at once.
This is why it may be a good thing for me to do.
It may
To learn
be,
to
maybe.
because I
untense
can
all your
just
muscles.
relax my various things, and maybe I won't turn into this weird tense mannequin thing when I try to exercise something.
Maybe I should make like a meditation for you. Like, there is no felt, James. All the felt is gone. It will never touch you. Fingers?
Oh, now I'm thinking about it.
Fingers touching you? That won't happen either. Especially not your sides.
I'm thinking about don't touch my sides.
I said it's not going to happen. I'm trying to relax you.
Now he's thinking about it.
touching on my sides. I get very.
It's going to hallucinate it.
Your nipples are safe.
You know what my weaknesses felt.
I know all of your
Felt
weaknesses.
in my sides.
And you'll notice that other than joking about them, I very rarely exploit them.
I appreciate that. But now Sam knows my weaknesses.
Well, I'm not going to exploit any of them.
Oh yeah, because Sam wants to challenge us to a touch-off.
Yeah, right.
I don't want to sit in the middle anymore.
So,
Ring Fit Adventure.
Yeah.
Quite the successful product so far.
Maybe it'll stay expensive then.
I hope it drops down to normal game price.
Yeah.
it's quite a lot. Like,
Yeah, because I think it's $120 Australian.
Yeah, that's an ask.
It's too much, yeah. If it was like an $80 ask, because the thing is, the game is still like it's not like they did no work on it, but it doesn't.
how much was the Labo kit? Like with the game,
They varied a bit.
like the first,
I think they
Whatever.
were at least 80, if
'Cause-
not 100 around.
like,
But
for
I don't think
that
they were
to be
120.
Less seems weird to me.
I don't know how
But-
much is going on in there.
I like to be right up there at the same price points.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a bit weird.
You're a bit weird.
Yeah.
Rah, rah,
Sometimes. Thanks, Paul.
So, in hot movie news, we all went and saw Cats.
Yeah, we did.
Oh god, I tried to push it out.
I made a
The
joke.
Jezebel Cats are here to play.
Fun fact: I made a joke about it the following day, the Saturday,
Yeah.
and Amy didn't. It just went straight over her head.
She couldn't remember.
Yeah,
and
she-
I went,
blanked
we
it.
watched Cats last night, and she went, "Oh yeah, we did." She
Yeah.
completely blanked it out.
Meow,
One
meow,
day
meow.
later.
Yeah,
was good.
I mean, what can we say about it? It was
It
truly
exists.
a cinema experience.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad I saw it.
Look, I agree with Paul's statement on our Discord in that it wasn't really bad. Like it was. Most of the badness comes from the fact it was Cats, not
Yeah.
from what they did to it.
Yeah.
Cats is kind of a broken,
Yeah.
a very broken.
It's a
musical
very
to begin with.
broken-
Well, because
musical.
it is just a collection of poems with no
Yeah.
plot.
And if you really want to like pull out like the compositing and the level of CGI, yeah, there's a lot of flaws. There's a lot
Yeah.
of just straight up rendering issues in the film. But that really didn't. It didn't annoy me really.
I was not bored through it.
There were a few
There was-
moments.
there
There was a
was-
couple of slow bits.
I was all right. But I think that was because I was just in a constant state of kind of confusion
Yeah.
or irritation.
What?
No, as soon as anyone said, "What's your name?" or "What do you do?"
You mean the entire show?
It's like, oh god, there's another 5-minute song coming.
Yeah, they're about to sing their name
And-
and what they do.
I mean, there's always going to be a 5-minute song coming. It's a Weber musical. That's all there are.
And
They're
for the-
just songs.
And for the most part, the music wasn't my cup of tea. Apart from maybe the magical Mr. Whatever.
Mr. Mistopheles.
Mr. Softly's that
Which
song,
is my favourite
which
track
was
from the musical.
also because it was the only one with story in it.
Yeah.
Like
Sure.
it was the only thing that advanced the plot in some
What about
way.
Rebel Wilson's eating the
Oh,
cockroach
that
song?
was, that was traumatizing.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And James Corden jumping into some trash. Pretty
It
good.
was-
Jason Derulo's
and
one was
It
pretty
was
good.
an experience.
And what about when Idris Elba becomes naked?
It's so weird.
It's so weird because most of the other characters are naked.
Yeah.
But the fact that he took off clothes made him extra naked.
Yeah,
It was-
Very strange.
yeah.
There's so much to write about. Scholars will have years to do with
It-
this.
It's the most unique cinematic experience I've had in a
Yeah, that
very
is-
long time.
Yeah.
And so I'm happy that I saw it.
I'm happy you came with me.
What?
I'm still surprised Paul convinced 9 other people to
Yeah,
come watch
that
Captain
amazed me. And when I went to the candy bar to get some popcorn, the guy asked me like, "What are you seeing?" And I said, "I'm seeing cats." And he just gave me this really confused look.
Seeing cats? What?
And there were other people in the cinema. I think there
Four
were
other people.
four
Yeah.
other people.
And they all made it to the end.
Yeah. I could have left. There were some points in the middle where I was thinking, yeah, I could leave now.
I mean, you could leave anything, James.
But
we don't do that.
but you know, I was
Commit.
gonna stick it out. For the I found I don't like memories. That was probably my least favorite song in there.
Oh.
I know people just get a huge hard on for memories, and partially because the way it was sung was just someone crying, and that was the whole song, and then she's looking sad and crying. And
But she was a sad cat.
Yeah, and it was
Is
just
James
grated
is very
me.
tense
She
and
had-
has no emotions.
No, I just don't want to I just found it
What is
fucking annoying.
what is this? What is the side of James that can't enjoy a melancholy kitty?
But there's a limit on my
melon
there's a
kitty.
limit on my melancholy.
It's a limit.
Yeah.
If anything, it didn't go even close to limits. It needs to work harder. I want Judi Dench to do a shit on the floor next time. 100%.
I will
Cats
say,
2 is coming.
hands down, like the best part of that movie was Ian McKellen just in the middle of a song going meow meow meow.
Meow, meow, meow. No one else says meow. They actually meow. He just says the fucking word.
that was the pinnacle. I
Well,
think.
Ian, the script says that you should meow. And he goes, I won't be doing that. I'll just say it. Patrick said it would be funny.
I liked when he rubbed his head against the post. That was
Oh, there's so much I love about this.
that
one.
was a cat thing.
I feel like I could just. I'm waiting for it to come out on Blu-ray so it can just make a million gifs. That's all I want.
See, the flip side of it too is that watching it, you can tell every single person in that movie probably had a lot of fun doing that movie.
Probably.
Like, it looked like they were all very much enjoying what they were doing.
Remember when Ian
is
McKellen
a good thing.
just acted somebody off a plank? Pretty good. Anyway, that's enough for the cat's hour. So let's talk about some other video games. James, apparently you've played quite a lot of The Surge
The
2.
Surge, which I got given as an early birthday present. And Surge has been on my list of things that I want to play. It came out at the
2.
time.
Let's
Sorry,
remember the 2.
Make it the 2.
Because
Surge
you
2.
liked The Surge
I finished
1.
the Surge 1. I don't
Yeah.
finish many things. And so it's been on my list for a while. Surge 2 came out at a bad time. I can't even remember what came out near it, but I just remember there were other things. And it just sort of got lost. So, yeah, I picked it up. I played a good chunk of it now. I'd say I'm probably about 2/3 through it. And in some ways, I prefer it to Surge 1, and some ways I don't.
Tell me which is which.
So the things that I like is that their gear progression I think is a bit better. They've still got their basic thing of, it's a Souls-like where you can target body parts. If it's armored, they take more to destroy. But if you then finish your finisher on that part, you get more components.
Uh-huh.
So if you want to go through and get things quickly, you can just hit the unarmored parts and you'll kill them. Or, but if you want to progress, you got to go out. So it's a nice kind of choice you get. They've still got that there. They've got what feels like a lot more weapons and armor. So it feels like there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of convenience things of now there's loadouts. So you can have 3 loadouts, which are super simple to swap between. So if you want to have a heavy, medium, light, you can do that. Or you want to have a poison build. The actual making builds is really good. They've got a lot of implants which augment you in some way. So for example, one of the areas I was in, there was a lot of poison. So that particular armor on one of the lights would reduce the amount of damage you take from being poisoned, and if you got the set bonus, you'd get a speed increase for attack speed boost if you're poisoned. And then there were implants you could get which would like lower the damage that it would take. So I managed to do a build where I could basically step in poison, get infected, take no damage, get a speed boost, and do really well. So it's got like these synergies which are really easy to figure out. There's a lot of different types of weapons that all feel really different. There's like lots of different ways you can play, like having the kind of light, medium, heavy. If you want to do a build where you're really dodgy, you can do that. You can up your stamina, wear like lighter armor so you can have more implants and kind of do more stuff. Or there's a parry system which is really friendly. Like one of the implants is it will tell you the direction the parry's coming from. Okay. So you still need a lot of timing. So basically you hold down block and you have to swipe the direction with the stick when it comes in. That's an interesting. And, or you don't have to put the guide on. You can take it off if you want. But it's handy being able to see where it's coming.
For a system like that, yeah.
But you still need to like get the timing right. Like the window's actually quite small. So for the most part, I've been playing it is being very dodgy. So I haven't really been doing any blocking or any parrying. But now I'm starting to find enemies which seem more susceptible to parrying. So because of I have the option to change my build so easily, I can go, right, well, I've got my fast parry, my fast dodge build with my big spear where I cut people up. But I can start doing a tanky build where I can block and I can take a blow if I miss the parry window and use a slower weapon. So, I can parry and then get in the big hit and stuff like that. So it's done a bunch of stuff to like iterate on the Surge in like a way that I enjoy. And that's why I've put so much time into it. Where I think I don't like it quite as much is probably the world.
Yeah.
I really liked in the Surge one the industrial, like you're on a planet which is a mining facility or something like that.
Industry, wasn't it?
Yeah, and so all the weapons made sense because it's like, oh, I've got this fire hammer because it's a piece of industrial equipment. It makes less sense when it's like a police sword. Like there's some stuff that makes sense, like there's like a scrapper faction, and it's like, they've hobbled together what they can, but there's just things in the world which don't feel as grounded as Surge 1, and that's one of the things I really liked about the Surge 1. Like, how do you take that kind of melee combat and put it in like a believable horror setting? Like, it's kind of hard to do. And
this is a bit more gamey stuff.
Yeah, and this is like, oh, I guess this is my fire spear. Because
you need to have one.
Yeah. And there's like 3 fire spears. So okay, whatever. They're slightly different. So that doesn't feel quite as cohesive. And also, I'd say the plot's okay. The characters like there's a lot of characters to talk to that give you side quests and things like that. And I haven't met a single character I like. Like the side quests are fine. Because the side quest is just things you're doing anyway. So it's more like, in this area...
Pick them up along the way.
In this area, like, they might want to have... I want a full set of this armor.
I fucking hate that game design thing, where it's just sort of like, you get to like a town or whatever, go up to whatever the mission board is, just grab everything, because one of them's going to be kill a bunch of guys. Just like make sure you have them all, because you're going to idly do all these things anyway. This isn't just a necessary Surge thing or anything. I don't think it's a major culprit of it. It just seems to be a thing that games have. That's like...
quests that will get completed
so
if you pick them up.
To completely jump from what it was just like, that's what I liked in Disco Elysium. It's the first time where I've gone like, no, I'm not going to do that quest. That doesn't seem stupid.
Yeah. But this one, like, Surge 1 had it where there'd be, like, someone you could talk to.
Yep.
And they might say something like, oh, I want this set of armor. But there wouldn't really be an objective for it. It'd just be like, hey, if you remember that I want this thing.
There's much more soulsy in the way,
here.
like the quest.
Yeah.
And
like it's very much just stuff in the world.
Yeah, and that will open up other quests, and there'll be, like, a big chain. Like, I remember in Surge 1, there was, like, this one, like, 6-step quest chain where at any point you could just not do it, and it just kind of break it. But this feels like, all right, there's hubs. I go to the hub, get all the quests. They don't have quest, markers over their head, but it's
Just
more,
to
which I kind of
talk to
wish they
everyone.
did, because now it's like, all right, so that part, and then the individual characters,
Yeah.
haven't liked. But apart from the world, the building of the world's good. Like, so it's sort of broken into a bunch of zones, and each of the zones feels pretty different. So like the first one's sort of in the police station. The second one's
Are they sort of
the hub.
independent, or are they soulsy and interconnected?
They're independent. Well, it's like independent but with multiple entrances.
Mm-hmm.
So it's sort of like the area I'm going through at the moment is like a garden, and I know there'll be like a couple of ways to get into this thing, but when you're in there, it's like it's a small little area.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the areas themselves are very well connected. Like one of the things is, at least I don't have it yet. I don't think it's there. Is any kind of fast travel, and it's a bit annoying.
Turns
but
out you just got to hit start.
but I think that there's like one particular item I don't have yet, which I see everywhere of ways to get around, like very quickly. And I think the moment I have that, getting
It'll
from
open up.
place to place is just going to be like that anyway.
It's good to hold
So-
it off till later in the game sometimes.
Yeah, so I like the level design. Less sold on
The world design.
The world itself. It feels like it's a bit sillier. It's like they wanted to be a little bit of a role-playing game, where you can talk to people, there's dialogue choices and things like that. None of the choices I particularly like, but I just go, yeah, whatever, pick the things. There's a pretty good chance anyone that gives you a quest is going to betray you. Like that's just, it's like 80% of the plot quests so far have been like, betrayal, betrayal.
It's a rough world.
So, no, it's except I'm pretty sure like, if you have a sneaking suspicion about someone, yeah, probably bad. But I mean, that aside, I've played like 17 hours of it, and I'll probably be playing it tomorrow. So like, it's compelling. I like the combat. I like the progression. I just feel like the world is a bit of a step back because I really liked. In some ways, it reminds me a little bit of Half-Life 1 versus Half-Life 2. When I went back and played Half-Life Black Mesa, where it's in the one area, it felt like this like cool, cohesive thing that I was walking through. And when I went back and played Half-Life 2, it feels more like here's a bunch of stuff that's kind of connected.
Here's 5 games stapled together.
Yeah. This feels like it's more disconnected
This is the
than
shooting
the
game.
last one.
This is the physics puzzle game.
How many games do you think Half-Life
the
Alyx is
Rails
going to be
game.
stapled together?
I hope just one.
It's the one.
No way.
It better just be the one.
No
good
way.
VR
It's
game.
definitely going to be like,
Yeah.
there's going to be the horror section.
Well,
there's going to be the
Yeah.
puzzly section.
There's a
They-
wave defense.
Yeah.
They're gonna go. How are all the ways we can use this new hardware to do new
'Cause,
things?
well, I mean,
Show
that's-
off VR.
That's kind of what all the Half-Lives will be,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
especially since Half-Life 2,
Yeah.
that's very much their game design.
Tech
Yeah.
demos.
Yeah,
But it can still be good. Like
Yeah.
Titanfall 2 was that design, and it was fucking awesome.
Yeah, that was a really good
Yeah.
game.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
Surge
Surge 2.
2. Surge 2.
Cool. Other games. So, Epic has been being very generous over the Christmas holidays. They did their 12 days of Christmas, where they gave away a game a day for 12 days straight. And there were some pretty good games in there.
Each one chipping away
at the value of
of
games.
games.
The last game that they did, it was the last game on the final day, was a slight surprise because the hint was that it was going to be Yooka-Laylee. And it kind of was, because it was not Yooka-Laylee. It was Yooka-Laylee in the Impossible Lair, the new game, which is only at this point 2 months old. About that,
I think it
Maybe.
was October release.
yeah, something around.
Well,
Yeah, maybe a
September,
little earlier.
October.
Yeah,
So
which
it's still new.
I hadn't picked up. It was known to be a Donkey Kong Country like, and it had relatively good word of mouth, but I just wasn't.
It dropped completely off my
Yeah,
radar.
I was playing. There was a lot of games this year, and it was just like, I'll pick it up for sale later, and now I got it for free. So I've given it a shot, and Sam has as well. Have you not?
Yes, I have. Yes.
How have you been going with it, Sam?
I've been going alright. I've been enjoying it.
Mhm.
It's not standout-ish, but it's definitely like I picked it up, played it for a little while, put it down to have dinner, and then went back to it, which is not common for me. If I stop playing a game,
I haven't got my
session, I
DuckTales
tend not
timing
to go
down on
back
it
to it.
yet, where you want to like do the spin attack and bounce off enemies to get
I
higher
found
and
a
everything.
lot of the control schemes are a bit loose in terms
Yeah.
of like what
I
each
just
button does,
sort of mash.
but there's timing on it that I know exists that I haven't figured out.
A lot of the Donkey Kong
It's-
Country roll
it-
off a
It's not very tight
platform in
controls.
there.
That's the thing. Yeah, I like the premise they've got in there with the levels. In that, effectively every level is more than one level. So the kind of overworld, as it were, where you are going between to choose what level to play is it's in itself its own level.
Yeah.
That's fun. But in that, there are items that can then affect the little books that are each level. So for example, there's a level that's sat in a pool of water, and you go through it, and it's a level that's got these raising and lowering water fountains that you're playing through, and you come back out, and you get given this ice berry, and it freezes the water. You go back in the level, and it's an entirely new level, but it's exactly the same design, but everything's frozen. So there's new passageways opened up, new ways to go through things.
And you can flood levels and all sorts
you
of
flood. You can add more monsters to levels to make them harder.
Yeah,
and
with
it's
the
all part
tonics
of
and
this,
everything.
That's
like
cool.
core design of like you going back in. And it's the same layout, but it's different.
Yeah.
With different collectibles and like new collectibles.
And so the core conceit of the game, which is really quite cool, is that the game starts and you are in the impossible lair, which is the final level. And it's a very tough level. And at the very beginning, they give you a barrier made of bees, which makes it a good game because it's got lots of bees in it.
So many bee puns.
There's a lot of bee puns.
Has a bee pun.
And so the bees take hits for you, so you can keep going through. Then the bad guy steals all the bees. And so from that point on, you can go and try to beat the final level at any point of the game. You can immediately go back in and try to win the game. And I believe it is possible, just very, very hard. So then every level you clear in the game gives you a bee, which means it gives you a hit to try and clear the impossible lair.
Okay,
So the more levels you clear, the more bees you have, the more hits you can take to get through the impossible lair itself.
Okay.
So it's a very different kind of structure. It's
You
basically
could finish it straight away if you really had the skill.
it's a little bit Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
There's the
You go
castle
straight to
right
the
there.
end.
Okay,
You can just do it, or you can go gear up.
Give it a go.
Yeah, especially for a free giveaway, pretty cool. But yeah, again, I still probably wouldn't have gone out and bought it full price at what it is. It feels the controls are just a little bit.
That's not what you
just
want with a
that spin.
platformer.
Well, I'm fine with all of them
spin
except for the
feels like
spin
it
in
should
the
be
air.
an attack, and it's not. But sometimes it is.
Sometimes it is. Yeah, that's what I'm not sure of.
It's very weird.
Because otherwise than that, it feels very Donkey Kong Country. I'm fine with the feeling of it. The whole roll dash thing and everything works fine for me. But yeah, it's just that spin in the air. When I want to Scrooge, when I want to DuckTales it, because you have to. Well, you don't have to. I like getting all this everything in a platformer. I don't like moving on when there's an uncollected collectible in a level. It's like, God damn it, I've got to spin on 3 things and I didn't land on the third one. I don't know why. Just hold down. Just DuckTales it. Just make it DuckTales. It works.
Just hold jump or hit jump
yeah.
again.
I was going to say all Shovel Knight it, and Shovel Knight's just DuckTales, so it doesn't matter. Okay.
The other thing that I had a little giggle at when I was playing it is the fact that there's progression in the overworld, and you have to pay to open them. They're called paywalls, and you use a twit coin to open them.
That's
give me
cute.
a little bit of a laugh,
Yeah.
and then I kept playing.
They do like their puns.
It's good. There's a lot of puns, and like Yooka-Laylee was full of them too.
Yeah.
And this is just all B puns all the way.
I think they're enjoying it while the studio's still making games. I wish them luck. I wish they could get a hit out because I feel like this was given away partly because it did so miserably.
Yeah.
Which is sad for them because it's they're like
Epic came up with a pile of money and said,
Yeah.
You didn't sell, so here's what you could have made.
I can't remember what developer it was. One person that's been on Epic. Because we don't know what the deals are. Those things are very rarely public. But all they said was that it is a flat sum. It's not a per download basis, which is kind of good and bad.
Yeah.
It's like if you
It's positive for them if the devs are like unsure or they're not doing so well.
I mean, if it's
like
a
it's
lump,
guaranteed.
yeah, if it's a lump sum where it's like, well, all right, here's 2 years of the studio.
Yeah, I mean, how can you say no there? Yeah, but it also means that if you suddenly have a Rocket League or something, you still just got paid the thing.
Sum.
But I think they kind of know where they are most of the time.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so that was Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair. I've also been playing a game that was a bit of an indie hit this year, A Short Hike. Now, A Short Hike is exactly what it sounds like. It is a short game where you go on a hike. You go onto an island. You are, I suppose, a teenager, young woman. I'm not sure. You're a bird anyway, so it's hard to tell. And you don't have any cell phone reception. And your aunt says, well, if you go to the top of the mountain, you can get cell phone reception. Okay, off I go. So it's a top-down-ish, I suppose, a slight tilt to it. You're exploring this island. You're making your way up the mountain. And there's lots of things around, and I kind of hadn't been sold on the things before. So there's lots of people to talk to, lots of mini games, things to find, things to collect. But maybe the weirdest thing about the game is that it's very pixelated. deliberately so. It's a 3D game, and the pixel density is incredibly low on screen. And I'm going into the settings, and I'm just like looking at a few other things around, and I found I could turn the pixel density up. And then I get to the end of turning it up, and then it's like, advanced features, warning. Okay. I go in there, and I can keep going up until it's
Actually, not regular resolution.
not pixelated at all. It's just a regular resolution. It's like there's a huge
normal
warning next to
game.
it. It's like the game is not designed to be. It's like watch out, watch out. I turn it on, and the game looks quite lovely.
Yeah.
So I did go back. I did it. I think I took it almost all. I think one step up from the base pixelation of it, and like it looks like it's a deliberate thing there. And I suppose if you do have it off, some of the text is deliberately pixelated, so it doesn't quite match thematically. But I'm kind of like your game looks quite
I feel
attractive,
like
not
they
pixelated.
had a very specific art direction
Yeah.
they wanted,
Yeah.
and are trying to warn people away from.
I'm
changing
surprised they put the option in.
Yeah.
Like-
Well,
Like,
'cause
if that's
if that's
what
your
you
style.
want it to
From
be,
what I've heard, it was not there originally,
uh,
so they may have caved to pressure.
added it in.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think they tried to frame it as an accessibility thing. I don't know how. I don't know
okay.
any sort of vision disability that means you can't see pixels.
Yeah. That's,
If the lines aren't sharp, I can't tell.
Yeah.
I ain't sure.
It's strange. So throughout the game, you collect feathers, and the feathers allow you to flap when you're flying, and also to climb. There's a climbing mechanism, Breath of the Wild style. So basically, as the mountain gets higher, it gets colder and gets steeper, and so normally when it's not cold, feathers just when you land on the ground they come back. When it's cold, they're frozen, and you've got to go find something hot to warm them up. So it's a way of gating you from just going straight to the top. But the whole experience, I didn't do everything on the island. There's quite a lot to explore and like treasures to find, people to talk to, and there's fishing and there's all sorts of stuff. There's a running race. I raced one person, but I couldn't take part in the marathon. I want to work out how to take part in the marathon. And they're like, and you get to the top and you can glide all the way down to the bottom seamlessly, and it's very freeing and stuff like that. So as a small experience, which I say will take you about 2 hours, 2 to 3, I really, really enjoyed it. I did it in one sitting. But also that means that, you don't want to spend a lot of money on this game. So in the sales is where I got it. I can't remember how much for. But yeah, it's really enjoyable, really cute, really charming. And fun. Like it's fun movement. It's fun moving through the world. It's fun gliding and jumping from one thing to another and climbing up. So, I mean, that's always kind of what you want. If it doesn't feel nice to move around, why are you playing an exploration game? That's a short hike, which also takes me on to Arise, which I also bought on Epic.
Oh yeah, because Epic had their
$10
off,
$10
off
every
everything.
time you buy a game.
Yeah.
Yep. So Arise
Which-
was a game that I...
Before you start
Yeah,
onto
yeah.
Arise, I will point out those discount codes till May.
Yeah.
Oh.
You,
So the last one you have, which for me is the first one because I haven't bought anything.
yeah, it lasts for...
Lasts till May.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's pretty good. $10 off
There's,
whatever your next
there's a
purchase is.
couple of games I'll probably be getting on Epic in the next few months. So, but anyway, so Arise, which was pitched to me as a Viking journey. I'm like, cool. And I'd,
Lots of journeys are.
I'd see some stuff on it. Seen this
Yeah,
little,
I remember that
Seen
thing.
this little Viking guy jumping from flower to flower. I'm like, that looks cute as fuck. That looks really nice. Okay, I'm gonna go for it because I like Journey. I like my little narrative indie game stuff with this. Take me on an adventure. So you starts up and you're being burnt on a funeral pyre because you're dead, and then you go into the dream world. So first up, you know how I said like, what's the point of an exploration game if the movement doesn't feel good?
Yeah.
Not great.
No, yeah, kind of. But it's because it's something. It's not what I expected, and so I'm still at this dissonance where I'm trying to accept it for what it is and not what I want it to be. I wanted it to be a journey where I run around. No, the camera itself is somewhat on a track, and you're moving through an environment. So the right stick is not camera control; it is time control.
Ooh.
So whilst you move, you can change the world basically from summer to winter. Scrubbing it back and forth, which means something like there could be a frozen lake, and then you go to summer and the lake fills up with water and it raises a platform that you can jump on to keep moving forward. And these things, like, there's always flowers in the fields and everything, so there's always that wiggly sort of time lapse look to everything as it zooms forward and backwards and everything. It's very, very charming in that, but unfortunately, at the moment, a very, very pedestrian moving forward puzzle game, platformer game, which hasn't given me either challenge or joy of exploration, which are the two things that I kind of require in there. I've only done the first 3 levels, and I'm not sure how many all up. And it's trying to give sort of an emotional story about like his life, but it hasn't earned it yet, so I don't care. So it's kind of short impressions on that. It just doesn't play quite well enough to recommend. Like if you're really into the idea of Viking in a dream world, walking around beautiful plains, like that's cool. And the scrubbing time works very well. It's a cool idea.
It's a good take on the time mechanic.
But I kind of expect, like, I thought of when it started at the first world, I'm like, I bet the first world was the time world. I bet there'll be another gimmick in the second world. It's like,
all time.
More time.
Still the same thing. Except now there's bees. More bees.
That makes you a happy man.
The bees everywhere. There's no ants, but you know what is
something better.
Ants are. So that is Arise. I mean, I don't feel gypped because I think it was only like $7 or something with the discount. Well, I mean that makes it like $12 Australian, but you always got to remember that with Epic.
Yeah.
No regional
But it does
pricing.
mean your $10 off is slightly more than $10 off.
Yes, it makes it a $14 off also. I do find whenever it comes up, because people still hate on Epic so much.
That's what I was wondering. Like, have we stopped hating on Epic yet?
Oh, I think the
I
majority
never
of
did.
people well done. I mean, majority of people never cared, and then
There's still just the tiny angry subset of people.
Yeah.
and then there's the never, like every time something was posted up of like free game on Epic, there'll be still the people that just hashtag never Epic and stuff. It's like
because now we're reaching that point where the exclusives are making the way over to Steam.
yeah.
And the world hasn't fallen apart.
No. I have seen many posts like, I could finally play a game. Like, well, you could
have,
it
like,
if you just weren't so uptight about
Yeah.
your decisions.
Why would I pay for a lesser experience?
Oh,
Like,
what?
well, that game doesn't have any features that would do that on Steam
And
anyway.
people are like, never Epic. It's like, well, enjoy not having your free games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to go play them now.
Especially when someone's complaining on either Facebook or Reddit.
Yeah.
Because Reddit is primarily in Chinese these days. And Facebook will steal all your fucking information. So. It's hard to have strong ethics and not be a hypocrite whilst to complain about it. Just got to put it on letters and randomly mail them to people. Which is fun. Okay, let us talk. See, we don't have a lot to do. Oh, I guess. Okay, big one. This thing's sitting in front of me.
Yeah,
The
you
Oculus
got
Quest.
that thing, which I put on, and I immediately got very excited.
Yes, the Oculus Quest. I had a moment, and I thought, "Fuck it." So I got myself a Quest because I wanted to play Half-Life Alyx, and I really like VR, but I do get a bit sick of having the PSVR, just the way it's tied down, and because I mean, if you've never got from the show, I like sharing experiences with people. It's very hard to do that with VR because you've got to take shit with you. With this, I can just chuck it in a bag.
Yeah.
So after it's been all set up and everything, which takes a little bit of time, with this thing I can take it, go walk into an entirely new environment, put it on my face, it automatically turns on. It'll say, new spot, do you want to draw a guardian? You can see with the pass-through, you can just see the world around
Which
you.
actually works a lot better than I thought it was
really
going
nice
to.
pass-through.
Yeah.
It's a really nice pass-through. I just paint on the floor where I want to walk around, say, okay, done. That's it. I'm playing VR games like 30 seconds after putting it on.
Great.
All the performance has been really, really good. I've played. I got Beat Saber on it. You can do custom songs in Beat Saber, which is one of the other reasons I wanted to do it because I've got PSVR and that's not going to happen. I also have been playing Pistol Whip, which is the Beat Saber like, except you're John Wick.
It's the shooty one,
okay.
isn't it?
Yeah.
That looks quite fun.
I thought through all the videos, I thought it looked kind of like, okay, but it got good reviews. Yeah, when you're in it, you feel like fucking John Wick. It's wild. It's very much that you have to play it to go. It's like the level just moves forward at a steady pace, so it's like
It's on rails.
coming towards you. It has a generous auto aim by default, so you just point in the general position of an enemy and you shoot. If you shoot with the beat, you get more points. Also, accuracy gives you more points.
And it sounds better
Yeah,
if you do so.
yeah, it sounds pretty good.
It sounds like you're in a movie trailer from 2019.
Yes, that's 2019.
There's a lot of them last year.
I was just thinking more Matrix. I was like, more like 2000s for me. But
Well, not like the style of music, but more like all the trailers that decided to cut to music, like to sync up,
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
like having everything sync up to the
Yeah.
music.
I get you.
Yeah.
I see now. I see
Yes,
what you're
there we
saying.
go.
All the pieces falling into place.
One of
I'm
the-
like, all trailers always cut to music.
Yes,
What the fuck
but,
are you
like,
talking about?
Synced to the
Yeah.
music.
One of the things I liked was when
Yeah.
I put it on, it told me in the environment where the controllers were with markers.
Yeah,
I thought that was really cool.
that's very cool. So, I suppose Pistol Whip, it's a good music game. If you're into that sort of stuff, that's just what it is. It's worth buying. Okay. Other game I've been enjoying in this game, Disco Elysium. So I got virtual desktop for it. I can stream straight to my desktop. I can play games off my desktop. I've mainly been playing Disco because that really doesn't matter what the quality of the stream is like, but the stream quality has been very good as well. And one of the things I found out with the virtual desktop is that we kind of already had Steam Link before Steam Link came out. Now, Oculus made the developer remove this feature, which was that you can play VR games wirelessly through the streaming system. I can see several reasons why they asked him to remove it, and you might be bitter that they asked him to remove it, but the good thing is, he hasn't removed it. He's just removed it from the official version, so if you buy it, you can then just download the APK from the developer's website, and I think it still does a license check, but you just sideload it, which is incredibly easy to do on it.
Because it's just it's Android device.
Just Android, just plug into a PC. There's just I think it's called SideQuest, the program. Sideloading, allowed to do it in a minute. It's not hard at all. So I loaded on there, and now I can stream VR games, which I have not tested yet. I'm not expecting it to be perfect, but
there's a lot of games where it won't matter.
There's a lot of games where I'm sure it will be fine. Also, just like bringing up movies and watching them on a big screen in there. And I don't know if you really noticed, but did you notice the sound when you were using it?
No, I didn't.
So it's got speakers just basically right next to the ears, enough that I haven't actually used headphones with it yet.
Okay. How does Beat Saber sound?
Fine. It sounds like decent headphones, not great headphones, but decent. But also, I have the world around me still as well. Yeah. It's actually been very inclusive as a headset. It's like, oh, okay.
Well, that is one of the things with VR that it's like you put the thing on and it's like you're immediately disconnected like the world, and I don't like that.
Yes.
Anything could be happening around you.
Yeah, where I could just step out of the environment and suddenly the guarding system falls away and I can see
the real world,
get the pass through. It felt far less. I mean, from the other side, it's probably a bit weird having someone looking at you when you can't see their eyes. But at least from my perspective, it's like, oh, I can look at someone, I can talk to someone, I can pick something up.
I was playing Beat Saber in my office here, and I heard a notification on my computer, so I just poked my head outside of the Guardian system, and I could read my computer and quickly send a message, and then reading back, keep playing Beat Saber. I didn't take that headset off. And I think the hearing thing is also a big thing because sometimes people get claustrophobic with it, and I'm sure because there are audio jacks on there, you can just plug in headphones, but it seems like a really good compromise.
I mean, I can feel the weight more. Like that was definitely
it's a little bit heavier.
It's a little bit heavier on the front compared to where it's just the screen, which makes sense. It's basically mobile phone hardware in there. But I did feel the strap on the back if you got it below the base to take some of your skull to take some of the weight.
I think the strap is the thing that people complain about the most. Like they get the Vive one, the audio strap thing that doesn't get made anymore. And everyone's they're like gold. Everyone wants one. But I've been fine with it. I've been pretty energetic.
It got on very easily.
Yeah. It's kind of. I think this is ready for the mainstream.
Yeah, that was. I mean, that's one where you could take it to someone's house, put it on. They don't immediately have the world disappear. I think that's a big thing as well. Like that's always that thing when you give it to someone and they're like, "Oh, where am I?" And you got to
transition period.
Yeah, and you have to do the thing where it's like you got to grab their hand and get the controller, and they go, "Oh, okay." So I think that alone is going to be a massive consumer friendly thing.
I'm going to try it on my grandma.
Nice. Yeah, that is the true test of VR.
Yeah.
Really.
I think there's an underwater game, just like a experiential thing. Like give her that. Let her sit under the water. She'll go, fishies. She'll love it. Maybe we'll find out.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. But I think it's way more accessible and it's still not cheap, but way more affordable than buying high-end VR
and then getting all the mounts up,
setting it up.
Yeah, you gotta have that dedicated space. And
I can still see the appeal of that. I'm still if I was wealthy enough, I'd have a VR room with index and everything there, and it'd just be people would just come in.
Computer that's just for your VR.
Exactly, but that is not reasonable for most people. No.
Yeah.
This is I was saying before, I tested Robo Recall on it, which is a game I have played on a high-end PC, and loaded up. I'm like, I'm sure this game looked better previously. I stopped caring immediately because the game is optimized to run well on this hardware, so it runs well. And it's fun to play, and I don't give a shit if the windows aren't as reflective.
Because I know it's got a slightly lower frame rate than other VR. Didn't notice.
Yeah.
I think it runs at like 85 or it's a
not
little bit
huge
less.
difference. Most are 90.
Yeah.
At a minimum.
I think like it's a little bit less than normal, but wearing that I had.
And I'm always a litmus test because I have super high nausea in VR.
Yeah.
I've had nothing in that.
Screen nice.
Yep.
Tracking, it was perfect.
I mean, literally, this thing set up was. I had to put it steps you through. You got to use an app on your phone. Step you through. It's like put batteries in the controllers. Well, how do I turn them on? It's like they're already on and paired. Okay, done. And in fact, weirdly, they've taken a slight cue. I'm going to say, even though they definitely didn't invent it, I'm going to pretend they invented it. Taken a slight cue from Ouya, where the battery grips are just magnetized on. So it just pops right off, and there's no clips to break or anything. It's like, yep. In fact, the only thing is that sometimes they slide a little bit, but it doesn't really matter because they just go back on because they're magnetic.
Controller was comfy.
Yeah, it's
they're nice controllers.
It is the best VR experience I've had from like just trying it before.
Yeah, from the 5 minutes that you've touched it.
And I've used VR over the years. That one there is the one that I would buy right now.
Yeah, it's just people can use it. Yeah. The only thing really, there is a surprising lack of software when you're in the store. I mean, it hasn't been out that long, I guess. No. But because I think they're adding the ability to use the Oculus Go software on it, but by default it's not in the store. So there is actually not that much on it.
Yeah,
and it's all VR priced as well. So you don't want to go and splurge too much on that store.
Because this is something
really adds up.
This is something I've actually been thinking about for work.
Yeah.
Because I'm kind of in this position where my career thus far has been mobile game development, which is actually in a really good place, a really good position to start making stuff for something like that.
Yep.
Because I've already had to get this thing get games running on
the
pieces of shit.
Yeah.
So if I can get it running on low end hardware, I can get it running nicely on that, and then you'll have a good experience.
And even, I mean, like, it doesn't quite sell the whole thing, but if you're doing that and you're then pitching this to people and you can just walk in with a headset,
put it on, and
it's like there's no setup, there's no weirdness. It's like, here it is, you know what this is. I mean, even because it wasn't Lucky Palmer, it was someone else that was high at Oculus, that like because he had one of these like a year before they came out. It's like it's the only one I use when I go around and I'm showing people Oculus. I just have a little carry case and we don't have to fucking set anything up. Do you know how much easier that is to get people on board with VR? If I could just walk up to someone that's going to invest and say, here it is, and put them on, as opposed to having a laptop that is set up and just going to put the cameras up here. Like, even because anyway.
Yeah, because I remember I borrowed someone's Rift.
Yeah.
And I tried to get it set up at home, and where my computer is at home. Yeah. It is probably the least VR friendly like space you could have. And
just burn the kitchen table, you'll be fine.
And I tried, and I eventually did, get them kind of around, and like I got into Elite, and I'm like, okay, this is cool, but like
wasn't worth
the
it.
amount of fucking around I had to do was But I'm curious to see how the pass through goes, like when you actually do get the link.
Oh yeah. Because
I
you can do Link now, which is when you're running it just as a traditional headset, running it straight to a computer. Basically, it's a bit temperamental what cables you use currently. Oculus is releasing their own cable, and people are testing them. And I'll probably grab one along the way, especially before Half-Life Alyx comes out.
Yeah.
Which is another big thing. Because it just had a Boxing Day sale. I was like,
it's like 10% off or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah, it was a good chunk. Yeah.
Okay. Now, we want to get onto the game of the year. No matter how long we want to go tonight. I've got one other thing we want to talk about.
We should talk about the one other thing.
Let's talk about that. I mean, there are a couple of little things there.
Yeah.
So both James and I finally put in a little bit of time into After Party, which is the follow-up to Oxenfree, which is a game I was a very big fan of.
And I was a big fan as well.
Yeah. So this was always a pretty incredible pitch for me, which was basically you and your friend are dead. You wake up in hell, and you have to outdrink Satan to get back to Earth.
It's a real solid pitch.
It's real good. It's a drinking game. It's a game where there's a button to have a drink pretty much most of the time, other than when you run out of drink and you have to go order another one. And yeah, I had bought it when it came out, and I didn't play more than 10 minutes until yesterday, where I put in a bit more time.
I bought it with my voucher. That's what, because I was such a fan of Oxenfree, and I got the voucher from Epic. It's like $10. I think it brought it down to like $12 or US or something like that. Yeah, it got it down pretty cheap, so I picked it up. And how have you gone with it so far?
I like. Okay, I'm enjoying it. There's once we start getting more characters into it, because it's Milo and what's the girl's name?
I can't even remember.
Milo and Woman. I much prefer when I'm playing Woman than Milo. She's cooler.
It seems very arbitrary
So cool,
when
you
it
can't
swaps.
remember her
between-
Yeah, it's straight. Yeah, it's so you can control either character, but there's not a swap
Yeah, there's
character
no
button.
button.
just
It's just like
happens?
the story
Yeah.
says at this point you are controlling this character.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So it's forced.
Yeah. And okay, this is one of the things which has surprised me
That's
with
odd.
this so far. Oxenfree, a very streamlined experience. It was. It felt to me. I jumped into Oxenfree. I was controlling a character. I could have conversations. I could walk
Very
away.
natural experience.
Very
as well.
yeah, very natural. Like it was a game. It was an adventure game that felt like it executed on conversations incredibly well. So far, everything in this feels like a step back to me.
Yeah.
Things like like there's two characters. It's a bit clunky about like when it swaps. It's suddenly like, oh, I guess I'm
Yeah, like I
controlling
kind of
the
thought
other
like
one
I
now.
could choose which one I preferred, and then the other. Like, no, it's just sometimes I'm the other person.
And then I'm having conversations, and it like I'm following along, but I get there too quickly, and they'll stop mid like saying something interesting to go, oh, we're gonna do this now.
Oh,
Like it's just
right.
like the timing wasn't quite.
yeah, I
there.
mean
Like
that stuff
interrupting
did have.
things.
That's well, I mean, Oxenfree was big in
Yeah.
interruption.
Yeah.
And whilst I still think that it's kind of the base thing, I think sometimes I think part of the problem is Oxenfree is a very empty world. There's a lot of walking around an empty environment. Hell's packed with people. Mostly you can't interact with. So you're like, why are they even fucking here? But also I feel like they couldn't leave just like the long stretches in Oxenfree where like I'm walking up a mountain now and I guess I'll just click at the top and I'll wait 2 minutes. This is more like I guess we better give them stuff to do. So I think there's more natural interruptions as well as your own because interruptions you choose is always fine. But when I have had a few issues like you're talking about there, James.
And so it doesn't feel like I would think that I want to see the next iteration of what they've done.
Yeah.
And this,
Like
it
they've
doesn't
taken
feel
a
like they've
step
gotten
back.
better. Like it's because I love the world.
The idea is great. The world's great. The characters, like the cab driver you talk to, she's very cool. The first bar you go to, there's a party upstairs, and like you have to make friends. Well, yeah, there's a few ways to do it, but basically the human who's having a party, he's just
Seems like a
he's a notorious serial killer.
Yeah. Like when you meet him, it's like, oh, I got to make friends with this guy, and like, it seems kind of.
And there's
fun.
like beer pong you play, and you go to the bartender and you ask for drinks, and the drinks have different properties. So if you choose the flirty drink, when you're talking to someone, basically you take a shot and it'll give you another option. But also I think it changes your delivery of your existing options.
Yeah. And for me, like the first one I had that was with the beer pong one.
Yeah.
And I think at the time I was playing the guy, and I had the flirty drink, and I was
definitely playing the girl.
oh god, I can't remember now.
Well, that just makes it
This would be
interesting.
really
If James-
fucking wild.
Maybe-
if it
I
can
might-
change.
James's memory is
I might be remembering. Or
Correct.
actually, or it could be I was before the beer pong and it swapped at the beer pong. Maybe I think
Maybe,
that might have been what happened.
I like the
Yeah.
idea that maybe this changed and we don't know
It is
why.
just-
Yeah.
There is a trigger somewhere.
There is somewhere and we just missed it.
Or it's random.
And the conversation, I was flirty, and I was like talking to I think the demon, and I was trying to give aggressive answers, but it was doing it in a flirty way. But it just didn't really work. Like there was this dissonance between them, and I kind of like appreciated it, let me do it, but it was more like I was
Maybe narrow it down a bit.
yeah. Well, it wasn't like as a flirty drink. It wasn't doing what I expected. Like it was
Honestly, that seemed fine for me, and I also took the flirty drink.
yeah. But yeah, I don't like
Different headsets for the players, I guess.
The whole drinking thing, at least so far, hasn't really clicked with me as a mechanic.
It's a bit odd.
Yeah.
Because I guess it's sort of like because there's no way to prepare.
Yeah.
You don't know what
You can't
conversation you're going to have.
strategize
Yeah, you can't
your
say,
drinks.
"Hold up, we're going to stop this conversation. I'm just going to go swap
Just
drinks."
get a different drink. Yeah.
So like, it's kind of it almost feels like it makes a bit more random, I guess.
But I don't know. I feel like it's overcomplicating it.
Yeah.
Like I just feel like, can I just be drunk? Like I don't know if there needs to be this other
The types
layer
of
of like
drinks.
the kind of drunk I am.
Yeah. I kind of think that too, and it's like not having the choice of drinks, just having like a glass that always fills itself up, or whatever, so you can just be drinking the whole time.
And make the choice about am I drunk or am I not drunk? Like maybe being drunk opens something off but closes something.
Yes.
Like, and make it about that. Because in the first part of the game there is a choice whether or not you want to drink or
Yeah.
not. and I think I chose not to drink, even though it was like telling me to basically go do it.
Yeah.
And I thought it was all right because it actually made me think the game would be about deciding whether I'm drunk or not, because that's like the setup. But then that seems to fall away a bit.
Yeah. I'm enjoying it, and I will go back to it, but it is not so far not as strong as Oxenfree. Yeah, I think it's sort of more. I sometimes wonder whether or not they had like this great idea, and they started talking about that idea, then they were stuck with that idea.
Yeah, it's like, oh god,
Everyone went, "That's a cool idea,"
Yeah.
and no one wanted to say, "Should we
like,
make this?"
Yeah.
Maybe we should change this a little bit. Maybe we should.
no, too far down. They overcommitted.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, that is After Party.
Yeah. I think it's come off the back of a really good game.
Oh god! And the thing is, the most interesting stuff about Oxenfree is still the stuff that I don't talk about because it falls into the spoiler territory
They
so
peaked
strongly.
early.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because did you play through Oxenfree, Sam?
I've played some of it. Not.
You should
I
play
need to
through
go back to it.
Yeah.
Oxenfree is a game that will, by the end, will very much surprise you.
Well, I've decided that this year is the year I actually go and finish games. I'm gonna go back through games that I started and didn't finish.
Sure, did you remember us talking about March before?
Yeah, I know. March is written off for me. Outside of March,
I think the March releases will take you the whole year until,
pretty
of course,
much
the new consoles come out at the end of the year.
yeah,
And let us not forget the very, very likely Switch Pro that will
With
also
Breath of the
happen
Wild
this
2?
year.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Breath of the Wild 2 is supposed to be this year.
And Metro Prime 4.
No, that's
That's
not.
not coming
That
yet.
one's a way off. Yeah.
I was reading,
I mean,
especially
I won't say never, but no.
No, I think it's 2021,
Does-
maybe even
there's an
2022.
article I was reading today on Vooks, which is the like Nintendo, Australian Nintendo review thing, and they had an article on like the likelihood of different Nintendo games coming out this year. And it was just like percentage chance of a specific either one of their IPs or a specific game that we know is coming, and it's like all the way down. Then Kirby's at 947% because it's mandated. There must be 2 Kirby games a year.
Fucking.
And then,
How
like,
about that
Breath of the
Clash
Wild
game that
2,
came out this
maybe.
year?
Yeah.
I mean, because they said Breath of the Wild 2 this year, but I assume it
Yeah.
was a slip. But who knows? Maybe. I mean, what? No, we'll find out what they have later this year. I guess, because they've
Yeah.
been kind of tight-lipped
Get our
about this stuff
directs
these
in
days.
and,
Yeah.
3-6 months in advance.
Yeah, whether they'll try to counter-program the new consoles or whether they'll just bow out
I've
for a
always
little
thought
while.
that, like Nintendo's always been in that fun little realm of releasing hardware between the
Yeah,
generations.
I feel like they should sit this
But
year out.
because if
Yeah.
it was going to be like a Switch Pro, it's just an iteration.
Yeah.
Like the 3DS has had, we might be in that world for the Switch.
Yeah.
Whether it's just like they don't care about the generations. It's just here's a new device, new hardware.
Okay. Anything else, James?
No.
Cool. Okay, let's talk at the end of this episode. So thank you for watching and listening to 8.5bit. You can check our website, 8.5bit.com, our Twitter and Facebook. Please like, share, anything like that. Join us on our Discord. Just have a good old time. We are now going to do the Game of the Year of the Year.
Game of the year.
Game of the
Game of the
Game of the
Game
Game of the
of the
Year.
Year.
Game of the Game of the
Yeah.
Year.
Well,
Double
I think
game.
We're going to do
1
that,
year.
and then it's going to be released as the next episode.
It's going to be well. There's
So
probably the
technically,
timing not of
We're
that.
doing
but,
it now, but you get the idea.
Yeah, we're doing it right after this. The shirts won't change. I'll change the sign. It'll be really good. We're going to play a game where we try to guess each other's games of the year, which I'm hoping is a format that will lead to some more interesting discussion
Got
than
my
most games of the
list.
years. Yeah, we've got our secret lists. It'll be good. Thank you for watching. I've been your host, Paul.
I've been James.
And I've been Sam.
Catch you later, folks.
See you, everyone.